With us now, CBS News political director John Dickerson and our chief legal correspondent Jan Crawford. Good morning. Dan, let me begin with you. What's next for same-sex marriage? What's going to happen now?
Well, you're going to see a tremendous effort in the states to allow even more, more same-sex marriages across the country. And I think why you're going to see that is because the opinion yesterday in that case that said the government had to give federal benefits is so powerful. The language is so sweeping in that opinion. I mean, it is not some dry legal document. It is almost a powerful almost affirmation of the rights of gays and lesbians. And it sends a strong message that laws that treat them differently just are not going to cut it.
John, how did you see the Republican Party reacting to this yesterday?
Well, you had two camps. I mean, it was interesting. You obviously had conservatives who were outraged both at the court and also what this did to a fundamental institution of American life. But if you looked at the sort of establishment, if you looked at congressional leaders and in conversations I had with strategists who were involved in these political races in 2014, it was a very muted reaction. I was getting more heat and conversation about the president's plans on climate change, his so-called war on coal, as Republicans call it, much more outrage about that than about this. It was really rather muted in the response.
Well, let me just ask, John, because you wrote a piece yesterday that said, will the GOP embrace marriage equality? And is it doomed if the party doesn't? What's the answer?
Well, there's a big debate going on in the Republican Party. It goes on in all parties. It splits this way. One, do we change our policies and ideas to meet the changing electorate, or do we hold fast to our principles and let the changing electorate come to us? In conversations I had yesterday, you had one camp that said, look, if you look at younger voters, those under 30, the overwhelming support for same-sex marriage, including younger Republicans. This is a tide that we need to catch up with. You can't beat it back. That was one set of conversations. The other set said, absolutely not. Conservatives are the core of our party. They think that marriage is a crucial institution, and we cannot abandon this fight. They started talking about it the way they did the abortion fight. This is a long 40-year struggle, was the way some were putting it.
Well, I was, Nora, I was talking to a House Republican last night who was almost breathing a sigh of relief, though, that, look, what this decision does is basically get Congress out of this issue because the court is saying this is an issue for the states. And what it also does is almost suggest that if you're on the other side of this, you're an outlaw. I mean, Justice Scalia, in that dissent that he wrote yesterday, said that the court was essentially saying opponents of same-sex marriage were enemies of human decency. That's the way Scalia wrote it. And I think you're really going to see that. I mean, this is not a decision that's just taking a boulder out of the road. I mean, it is a decision that is saying this is the road, and we're going to go down that road.
Jan, is this one more time in which you look at the justices and say, they're reading public opinion and hearing where the country is?
That's a good question. And I think yes and no. I mean, on this issue, the court has kind of been behind public opinion, not getting in front of it. But yesterday, I mean, this decision really does kind of move the country forward in the direction of supporting same-sex marriage.
John Dickerson and Jan Crawford, good to see both of you. Thank you.